Seattle's contribution to popular music is undisputed. You know the names, from Hendrix to Hart, Pearl Jam, Macklemore, and many, many more in between. In this series, we're going to examine Seattle's music community, in depth with unique performances, with interviews, and much, much more. We're also going to find out what makes Seattle, Seattle, and what makes this city on the shores of the Puget Sound one of the best places on the planet for music. Welcome to Sounds by the Sound.
Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to another episode of Sounds by the Sound. Everything we do today, from the people that we talk to the places that we go, is going to be done with Jimi Hendrix in mind, a musical and cultural icon whose impact, even though he lived decades ago, is still felt every day here in the Pacific Northwest. Right now we're at the EMP, where they have a great Hendrix exhibit called Hendrix Abroad. It takes a look at Hendrix's time from 1966 to 1970 and all the shows and all the touring that he did in those years. That guy was all over the place at that time. And you see it in this exhibit. You see suitcases, you see fashion, you hear music. This exhibit is really something else. We're also going to introduce you to a guy named Jimmy James, who I'm comfortable saying is one of the best guitar players in Seattle. But first though, Acapulco Lips, a band who I think would be the first to tell you wouldn't be the band that they are today, and wouldn't sound the way they sound today if it weren't for at least a little bit of that Hendrix influence. You're going to see what I'm talking about right now at the Central Saloon. Here's Acapulco Lips on Sounds by the Sound.
We're Acapulco Lips, and this is my time.
We are at the Central Saloon in Pioneer Square, one of the oldest bars in Seattle, with the band Acapulco Lips. Hello.
Hello.
Let's get a little background on the band. How did you guys all meet? How did you guys find each other?
I moved here from Austin. I had placed a Craigslist ad and I found Christopher. Mostly my aim was that like we are on the same page of what we like to listen to, and also just kind of that like our aim is to have fun.
Why'd you move here from Austin? Why'd you pick Seattle?
I have played in bands for probably like 10 years before I moved here, and I liked the people here, and all the clubs we played were super cool and everyone was just pretty legit, so yeah.
There's a venue called Black Lodge that one of your songs is based on. Can you tell us about that venue?
To me, like when I moved here, I was like, this is so nuts that a place like this exists close into the city, because when I was growing up, like any all ages place that I could go to, like that's totally shaped like what I do now.
So for people who don't know, Black Lodge is a venue, all ages, here in town.
It's just like run by the people that live there and do art there. And
it's cool like a place like that exists and is, again, so artist friendly.
I really liked playing the mural stage at Seattle Center. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, cool.
Then now that KEXP is down there, it was super fun playing live in studio. Chop Suey has always been the go-to spot for good shows.
And West Seattle too had such a great like community of people that really want to support what's going on like in the cities. We played like a parking lot, we played Easy Street.
You mentioned KEXP. How helpful have they been for your band?
Extremely. Like we are so appreciative of everything that it's so rad that it even exists. You know, like just with such a great attitude and super supportive of Seattle musicians and other musicians too, but you know, with a focus on here. Just getting support can make all the difference.
You did a music video, is it for the song Tonight? Which looked like the most fun anybody's had making a music video. Can you talk about that?
Our friend Carlos did that. He came up with the idea of a night of like let all like the drinks pile up, and for a while we were drinking pretend drinks, but then we just started easing into real drinks. So by the end, like that's legit.
That's good. There was acting at first, at the end there was not a lot of acting. We've done a little bit of a focus on Jimi Hendrix in this episode of the show. In any way, shape, or form, was he an influence for you?
Obviously it's like shaped this town and like the music scene, and one of the first people in, I guess, like rock and roll to bring a focus like on this city and pave the way for other people, making this a place that people look to for like what's going on in music.
The record came out this year. Can you tell us about these songs? Was there a theme? How was that experience releasing the record?
When we first met, like a huge thing to me was that it would be very collaborative, and that everyone feels when we're writing a song that everyone gets to do what they feel good about, where it's not just one person like, hey, I wrote this part for you, play it, go through the motions. You feel better like if you feel like, oh, I feel like personally responsible, and that was kind of just our aim, was like to just respect like each other's taste and, you know, kind of what we do and like make that work. It takes us a little longer to write.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for
More
having
importantly,
us.
thank you for playing and sharing your music with us.
Yeah.
It is Acapulco Lips, which, we didn't mention this, clever way of saying apocalypse on Sounds by the Sound. Welcome back to Sounds by the Sound. Right now we're at the EMP, where they have a Hendrix exhibit called Hendrix Abroad. I'm going to introduce you to a guy named Jimmy James, who I feel comfortable saying he's one of the best guitar players in Seattle. And it's hard to be a guitar player in Seattle and not be influenced by Hendrix. Here he is right now at
The historic Washington Hall, a venue that's hosted Jimi Hendrix, as well as legends like Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Fugazi, even Elvis Costello, to name a few.
Hello, we're Jimmy James and the Sure Things. We're going to do a thing called Foxy Lady for you.
Foxy. 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 Foxy.
Hey, you know you are a cute little homemaker.
Foxy.
Hey, you know you are a sweet little homemaker. You got to be all mine, all mine. Ooh, Foxy lady. Foxy. Foxy. I see you all down the scene. Hey, Foxy. You know you make me wanna get up and Foxy. Listen, baby. I made up my mind. I'm tired of wasting all my precious time. You got to be all mine, all mine. Ooh, Foxy lady. Here I come, baby. Coming to get you. Foxy, Foxy lady. You look so good, Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy. Yeah, baby, Foxy. You make me feel like singing. Yeah, baby. Foxy.
I'm Jimmy James, and I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Mark Matry. My name is Darnell Washington. I live in Seattle, Washington.
My first musical influence was Robert White, who played the lead guitar line known on My Girl by The Temptations. Then I would later hear Jimi Hendrix at a really young age. It was amazing. What I really loved about him is that he was fearless. The one that really got me, though, is when he took the Star Spangled Banner and took it all apart and did what he did with it, which was against the rules to a lot of people, you know, but it was the realest version of the Star Spangled Banner ever played. He just didn't care. He just did what he wanted to do. That's how you have to approach music. There's a lot of people like that, not only him, but John Coltrane or bassist James Jamerson, very fearless, what they do. They just go for theirs, and Jimi Hendrix is, wow, what I would have done to have met him in person. There's a lot I could say. I would probably pass out. Let's just put it that way. I guess what it feels like to me for Jimi Hendrix playing here, anywhere you're around here, you can feel it. You know he's there. My cousin's grandfather played in a band with him, the Rocking Kings. That's who they were. And they played here. They played at the Spanish Castle in Tacoma, where the song Spanish Castle Magic came from. But you can feel bits of him in the neighborhood. This is his old stomping ground. You can tell he really had to pay his dues here.
But the two most common places you'll find musicians like around town, one being the Sea Monster, the other one being Nectar. But right now the home base is the Sea Monster Lounge up in Wallingford. It's like a who's who of players from around Seattle. Any given night of the week.
And members from Lettuce and
John Wicks from Fits and the Tantrums. G-Love came and hung out with us.
Special sauce here.
One of the Marsalis brothers, Jason Marsalis, showed up on a Friday night. Just a couple weeks ago we had members from Earth, Wind & Fire's band show up.
Well, what music does for me, it's like a release valve. It releases if I have a good day or have a bad day or whatever have you. It's really almost like a religious experience, to be kind of honest, because you're playing in front of people and the people are kind of like your congregation and the building's like a church. It's that type of moment that you're not really aware all the time, but you're just going with it. And it feels good, and the people feel it too. Preacher says a certain thing, and the whole audience goes, what's that? There it is.
Wow.
And that's what it is. It's like, that's what music is to me. I know that's kind of weird me saying that, but that's just how I'm thinking right now.
Welcome back to Sounds by the Sound. We're at the Central Saloon in Pioneer Square, one of the oldest bars in Seattle, for a performance from one of our favorite bands in the area right now. It's Acapulco Lips right now on Sounds by the Sound.
We're Acapulco Lips and this is Awkward Waltz.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Sounds by the Sound. Always a very special thank you to the EMP for letting us shoot here and take a long, hard look at their amazing Jimi Hendrix exhibit, Hendrix Abroad. Again, if you're in Seattle, always stop by the EMP and make sure you take a little bit extra time to hang out with Hendrix as well. Also, thank you to Acapulco Lips for hanging out. Here's another performance from Jimmy James. You're watching Sounds by the Sound.
Hello, we're Jimmy James and the Sure Things. We're going to do a thing called Sure Thing.